Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. And oh boy, what a listen this one was. It's Tom Petty's Live at the Fillmore. This took me a while to listen to. It was like 4 hours of music here. Got the 4 CD little box set here. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. It's like it's 72 tracks, but there's a lot of spoken word stuff here. So it's actually only 58 songs. 35 of these songs are actually covers. Man, there's just so much here. Man, that was a lot of fun though. So this was basically, they had a residency back at the Fillmore for like 20 days. 6 of the shows they recorded professionally, and this is kind of a mix of all of those. And man, it's just like a ton of stuff here, and they sound great in this. I'm like a huge Tom Petty fan. Like, I remember way back when MTV was first starting out, and I didn't have MTV because my parents just didn't have cable. I probably said that on plenty of other one of these. And the first song I ever remember hearing was Change of Heart, and I was like, man, what the heck song is that? That's pretty cool. And I had to find out who that was. And they had a bunch of weird other videos on there. You Got Lucky, I remember them playing that like all the time. But that was actually one of my least favorite songs of his. But a lot of his older stuff I really liked. My bands that I've been involved with over the years have played a few Tom Petty songs. You Wreck Me was actually just played that in one of the last ones I was involved in. Jammin' Me we used to do. It's really strange because he's a hard guy to cover. It may sound like these songs are easy, but they're not at all. If you don't play Tom Petty right, it doesn't sound right. He's got one of those styles of singing it's hard to copy. And Mike Campbell, let me tell you, his guitar playing, it plays what the song needs, but it's hard to replicate. It really is. And the rest of his band is just killer too. This one, has got Ben Montench in it, he's been like a session player in a lot of other people's stuff too, and he's just an amazing keyboardist. And him and Mike Campbell are like all over this CD. It's like they just make these songs their own. The originals that they did of their own just take on a new life on here. This was really fun to listen to. I know a couple of these were released in previous things together. It's amazing to think there's actually 6 complete shows out there. This stuff that who knows, maybe someday we'll get to hear every show. But anyway, I'm not going to go through every song obviously, but there's a few highlights on here that I really liked. It just starts out with a cover song that I had never heard before, called Around and Around. And that's another thing about these cover songs. Even though they're covers, there's a lot of them on here that I was completely unfamiliar with. So it's kind of like a brand new Tom Petty song, pretty much. It makes me kind of want to go check out the originals, which I like that about music. I like it when certain artists can bring you and help you discover other new artists. So there's a few on here that I'll be probably checking out afterwards. But another thing I wanted to point out that I noticed is that the audience is really overpowering in some parts. Like when they kick into like Jammin' Me and the audience kicks in, they're pretty loud for a good portion of the beginning of the song, and then it kind of pulls back a little bit. So I don't know if that's just how the crowd was. I mean, a lot of people do cheer at the beginning of songs they recognize and whatever, and then they kind of calm down for this a little bit. But there's points in the middle of these songs you don't hear any crowd noise at all, and at other points it's so like overwhelming. It's like sometimes almost louder than the music. So I don't know if that was done to help make the song sound more energetic, because they really didn't need to do that if they did. I don't know if that's what happened or not, but these songs just have an energy of their own. And even in Jammin' Me, for example, the guitar playing, he's letting the notes ring out, which on the original he doesn't do that at all. So it's kind of just a little thing there. And man, just going down the list here, Call Me the Breeze, that was an awesome one. I obviously don't have all this memorized yet. There's so many songs on here. It's a couple of the other highlights that I really enjoyed was he does a little thing for You Are My Sunshine, and then Tom plays a little bit of that himself, and then it goes into Ain't No Sunshine, which is I love that song. It's like a killer song. I thought it would have been better if the two had been blended together like into kind of one song, but this is pretty darn close. I thought that was kind of a cool thing they did there. Yeah, You Know How It Feels brings on a whole new feeling in this one too. It's just really, really laid back. Some of the other covers that I thought were kind of cool was their version of You Really Got Me. It's weird how they can take a song that famous, that's been covered by other bands. Obviously Van Halen, it's probably the biggest one that's ever covered it, and make it sound like their own song. It's just strange how they have that ability to do that. And Roger McGuinn makes an appearance on here, which is cool. Because Tom Petty was extremely inspired by Roger McGuinn. If you don't know any history of Tom Petty at all, it's probably the reason he owns a lot of Rickenbackers is because of Roger McGuinn and the Byrds. And the Byrds are kind of funny because they used to cover Bob Dylan songs, so it's kind of goes down the line there. Of course, they actually cover a Bob Dylan song on here too. Their version of Knocking on Heaven's Door was really amazing on here. My favorite version up till this point, because this might be my new favorite version of Knocking on Heaven's Door, was Bob Dylan's version, and it was written for the Billy the Kid movie, and Guns N' Roses obviously redid it. I was in a band that we did that song, and Guns N' Roses rocked it up quite a bit, which was fine. That was a fun song to play. It kind of lost that eerie moodiness when Guns N' Roses did it. Now Tom Petty's got that weird eerie moodiness of the original, with it being upbeat a little bit more, with the full band rocking it. Somehow they make it their own. And the keyboard part in that one, I thought it was like a harpsichord at first, but it really sounds like an old-fashioned ragtime, piano. So that actually gave it a whole new feel that I would not have expected. And I mean, just so many songs on here. Wreck Me X, I just talked about that, was on there. Free Fallin', hit a cool little intro thing, not really too long, but just started a little bit different. And the funny thing on here is they covered Louie Louie, and this is the first time ever that I have been able to understand any of the lyrics. Still didn't get them all because Tom Petty has a way of singing and slurring the words together sometimes, just his style of singing, so I still couldn't make out all the words, but still that was a fun song. It sounded like they changed one of the chords in it too to give it a different feel as well. Once again, making the song their own. And Gloria, if nobody knows that one, old Van Morrison song. Doors redid it at one point too. And just I could go on and on. Mary Jane's Last Dance. I actually played that song here not too long ago in one of the more recent bands, and it was just fun to hear their style of doing it, and everything's just different. It just takes on a different feel live. I know there's some people that are not fans of live albums, but I usually appreciate most live albums. I mean, there's some out there that are horrendous, but this one is, oh man, I'll probably be listening to this one quite a few times. It just actually, it took up the majority of my day yesterday just listening through this one, giving it a good listen a few times through. So, and if you get the box, there's a bunch of different versions of this. The box edition comes like a patch. It's got this it's backstage pass and some pics and stuff. And I personally don't care about any of that stuff. Because I know it's not original, it's just replicated stuff. So I mean, whatever. But some people like that stuff. There's a big 6 LP version of this too. It's got comes in a drum case and a bunch of different versions. There's always tons of different versions of this stuff when it comes out. There's a couple other box sets that came out this weekend that I'm not going to be reviewing. There was a David Bowie one that came out, and The Cure. And I like David Bowie, but I don't know his history that well. I've listened to him my whole life, but I've never really dug deep into any of his stuff. Own It All, it's weird, but I've never really followed him that much. And The Cure, I don't get The Cure, so this is one of the bands I just don't understand. But there's a lot of people out there like that, but as well. So I won't be doing either one of them. I know that was the other two big releases, but did not get those. And maybe somewhere down the line, David Bowie, but The Cure is never going to happen. But anyway, this one was awesome. It was definitely worth the money. I don't know if it's worth the money for the big, drum case one, but that's up to you. If you're a diehard Tom Petty fan, you're actually going to love this. I think you're going to love it. I loved it. So give me your feedback on this one. Tell me what you guys think. Any cool Tom Petty stories? Love to hear them. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and all that fun stuff. And we'll talk to you later. See you.